How do you enforce the rules of any card game? Now, if it's a physical card game, then the rules are enforced by mutual agreement. Everybody around the table agrees that these pieces of paper correspond to these sets of rules. The problem with a physical card game is twofold. The first is that people may misunderstand the rules, which was a bit of a problem in some of the demos with Poison, Water, Wine. And the second is that people could understand the rules but choose to ignore them, also known as cheating. The advantage of doing a digital card game is that you can code these rules to prevent both problems. And here is how I decided to do it, using a system of Bools and a game controller.
So here is a visual representation of the game's current Unity architecture in order to understand how the game controller works to enforce the game's rules. To begin, the first layer of the game includes the game canvas. This layer has a video embedded within it, which displays the game board and scene. The next layer on top of this includes the UI drop zones that determine where cards can be placed, including the hand of each player. On top of this layer are the game objects that include the score, phase, available actions, as well as all the buttons to draw cards, end a turn, or open the menu. The remaining layers in this visual representation are hidden, but no less important, starting with the 50 prefabs that represent each card in the game. On top of all of this is the next layer, which contains all the Unity scripts that determine how all the UI elements below interact with one another. And finally, this brings us to the game controller script that sits at the very top and is the one script to rule them all. While the first set of scripts on the previous layer essentially say, here is everything the game can do, the game controller script says, here is what the game should do at any given time. So, how does the game controller actually do this? The answer is a surprisingly elegant solution of using Bools. For those who may not know, Bools in the coding world are simply switches that can be turned on or off depending on what conditions you as the programmer wish to occur. The big advantage of using Bools in my experience is that they are very simple to understand and don't require you to actually change any of your existing code. Instead, you simply decide what code to turn on or off in alignment with your phases and rules. So here is the latest version of the game that I can demo to illustrate how the Bools and game controller are working. You'll see when I first load up the game, most of the Bools are switched off, as there is nothing to do yet until the game begins. The only Bool that is available is the one linked to this button that is the turn Bool that allows me to begin the game. So once I click the turn button, you'll see we begin an initial game of Poison, Water, Wine, starting with the pouring phase. In this phase, you'll now see that the Bools linked to actions, pours, draw, and turn have all been switched on and are available for use. How this now works is, after using each Bool associated with each action, they'll be switched on or off depending on the availability of those actions. Here's what I mean. The draw Bool is available, so if I click draw, I now get a new card that has been drawn to my hand. But you'll notice the Bool linked to draw has been switched off. Click as many times as I will on this draw button, it will not give me a card so long as that Bool is switched off. Now, if I want to pour a drink, I can select a card. Maybe I'll give myself a wine here. It flips over, and you'll see now the pour Bool has been used, so that is switched off. So any subsequent attempts to pour drinks without actions will not work. They'll simply snap back to my hand. And last but not least, I still have one action Bool available. So I can take, let's say, the buy action, for example, and place it in the drop zone. Now you'll see the draw Bool has been reactivated since it's been allowed to occur through an action only. And when I click a card, it draws me cards that are linked to the action. But as soon as that action is complete, no other action is available. You'll see if I try to use the move action, for example, it'll switch back to my hand. So now the only Bool that is open is the end turn Bool to move on to the next phase of the game. Fast forwarding to the very end of the game in the drinking phase, you'll see that the flip a card Bool is available, and once I click a card, that Bool is switched off, so I can't click any more until my turn is ended. But But when I do end the turn and it goes to the next player, they can flip over one card as well. But again, only one at a time, as that turn has to end and it comes back to me and I can flip over one card. This process keeps repeating, with the Bool ensuring that no more than one card in a turn can be flipped over at a time, until the round either ends with a water victory, or in this case, a wine victory, where I'm getting 5 points. And that's it. That is how the Bool system works in a nutshell.
So there you have it. That is my latest Unity update. If you like this video, I hope you'll follow along. And if not, hope you have a good day.